Yep.
Okay. All right. So, hi everyone. To those of y'all who are watching, welcome to this episode of the podcast by the Bullish Agency. And the Bullish Agency is a place where we help financial education businesses increase their profits through working with them on their marketing, their sales, their business. And what we aim to do is really to help you grow to a stage where you can be earning, potentially earning anywhere from 6 to 7 figures revenue in a month. And I think this video that we are really shooting today, it's really meant for a few groups of people in particular. The one group that we serve are people who want to scale their financial education business, or for those of you who are looking to start your financial education business. And before we go on, in this video, what we're really looking for is to really define what exactly is a financial education business. Because as you can see in today's space, there are many people online who are talking about marketing, building an online business, about coaching programs, about courses, and posting content, and so many things that the whole field of learning how to take whatever knowledge you know and to turn it into a product or a service or any form of knowledge that you want to share. It's really so crowded, and most people are actually very overwhelmed with all the things that they're facing. And at the same time, the cost of advertising is going up, and all organic reach is going down, depending on which platform you're on. And all of that can be a rather challenging environment to really grow a business in. And it's for this reason that from some of the clients that we work with, we know that some people are feeling very frustrated, they're feeling very lost, and for some, they have made some unprofitable campaigns as well. And so in this video, what I really want to do is to really just go into what are some of the things that we have developed over time with our existing clients to be able to help them to grow their business and to be able to spend less time on the marketing, the sales, and the stuff they don't really enjoy, and to take their time and to invest it in what they do best, which is helping their community and building a legacy. And so for today, normally it's how I do it's a very casual flow, but just for today I'll be asking Thaddeus here a few questions about what exactly is this thing that we do, because just in fact over this week we developed a new a model. Thaddeus is the one that developed this new model called the 5-step FEBA process, and I found it really very interesting. And so this is the process by which this agency and this especially has used to grow clients in this financial education space, from people who are just starting out to reaching a phase where they are having a very, very comfortable income due to the confidential nature of the work that we do. We can't say the exact numbers, but they are at a stage where they are expanding regionally, and they are bringing in pretty decent revenues with huge margins. So without further ado, let's begin and let's invite Thaddeus on. So first question, how exactly do you find out about this method that we developed?
Yeah, good question. I guess it's a summation of like experience and a lot of problems faced when I started going into this industry of helping some of our clients. So I think generally it's a few things, right? Because our 5-step process it comes in phases, 5 different phases. So let me break it down. So when I first started out, there's this huge problem that it kept coming up with the marketing campaign which I was doing, which is ad cost was always increasing. So every time I launch a campaign, at first it works out fine, like the lead cost and everything is fine, it's profitable. And after a while, you kind of like leave it alone, and then it slowly dies down. And for I think for quite a while I was like stuck, like I didn't know what was going on. So I think that was the first thing, because I was always very frustrated, right? Like, how come I can't control am I not in control of the ad cost, right? I'm always like, run ads, and I'm very, very stressed out. Then until a point whereby I was like, almost give up. I kind of almost give up, because it's like, I had no idea how to, like, imagine, right? Like I'm facing the client, and then the client asks, hey, how come this webinar not profitable? I don't know what to say. So I think that's the first problem which I face, which also kind of we use this framework to actually not say completely eliminate this problem, but I'll say better manage it. So that's number one. I think number two is also when dealing with clients, a lot of the clients, the problem which they face also, it's let's say we get to bring in leads, but then the next issue it comes with the webinar, right? If the speaker or the coach cannot close, it is also an issue. Let's say bring 100 people in the webinar. If he doesn't close, then there's an issue also, right? So there's the second part which we'll talk about later. Because I think there were a few times which was okay, made me very frustrated. Like I was having a few coaches, and I brought in a good number of leads at a decent lead cost and everything, and then he didn't close anything. So we both had no food to eat. Yeah, so it's pretty sad. So I think like it's just like many experiences like this that made me really want to find out like how can we turn this stage selling or webinar selling into a proven framework that can be duplicated across people, whether you are a charismatic person like Tony Robbins, or whether you are as bad as a speaker like myself who don't like to talk. You can also use this framework to close. So that was the second thing. And then third thing is what I realized is also not all, because working with multiple clients, not all clients are equal. Not their models are equal. Some clients it's just them easy to become very profitable. On the other hand, some clients, based on the business model, what I realized is that no matter how well we market for them, no matter how many leads we bring for them, no matter how much we consult them, the business is just isn't hitting that amount of profit margin and revenue and yeah, right. So that's the second issue, and I realized that it's not always about your leads. Sometimes it's about to do with your business model, right? Because if let's say example, right, let's say I'm trying to sell a course at $100, right? There's a very very low chance that it can be profitable. If I'm spending a decent amount of money, maybe let's say 100K on ads, right? Like it's almost no way to be profitable on the front end. So this was something which I realized also. Next one, which is I think the final one, which is the part 5 of the FEBA process, is what I realized is some of our clients, not exactly our clients, what I observe outside, our clients' competitors. The issue with this industry is that if let's say your business it's a very like a one-off transaction with your customers, then it's very hard for the business to sustain, right? And that's when I realized that like sure, bringing in customers is pretty awesome, but let's say they leave, or yeah, let's say if they leave like maybe a few months in or just 1 year in, then the whole cycle repeats. I gotta find new customers again, convert them again, etc., etc., etc. So from then on, I think what I realized is that why not, like I'm very inspired by all the SaaS business models like Slack, what else, Shopify, Zoom. All these are very very sticky. So I thought like why not, like why can't this info business, financial education business have this kind of recurring revenue from our customers, right? ARR, a very high ARR, like in a I think a very healthy place for a business is whereby at the ARR, I think the first milestone is where the ARR overcomes the OPEX. Not overcomes, it's more than OPEX. I think there's a place where it's really healthy for the business. So whether or not like suddenly your ad account banned or what, the business can still survive and also continue growing because you have a recurring revenue. So yeah, I mean based on this understanding these five things, or five of the most difficult challenges which I faced and which I encountered, I decided to turn everything into this simple framework called the 5-step FEBA process. Very simply designed to help our clients acquire leads predictably, stand out in a sea of a very competitive space. At the same time, allow speakers also who maybe have some trouble with closing webinars to close much better, right, at healthy, profitable rate. And at the same time, also help them to be able to scale to a certain size. But of course, not all clients want to scale. But yeah, so but my point is, to be able to scale is not that easy. It's not all model can scale. So that's what we try to do. Next one is also to build a recurring model for our clients, so that it's much more sustainable rather than just like churn and burn customers. And that is the 5-step FEBA process.
Wow, I think that's really so amazing. And I think all of this really gives us the context for where we come from. And yeah, so I realized I forgot to introduce myself. So my name is Sean, and I'm a part of the team that Thaddeus has built over the years. And together we work on a lot of the campaigns that we manage and for our clients. And some of them have been pretty good. And along this phase, we have learned many things. And we have taken all of these concepts, all the lessons we learned, and all of it distills into this 5-step FEBA process, as we call it. So before we go into each of the 5 steps and doing an overview of it, I realized we have one important question to tackle. And the first question I always ask you is, what exactly is a financial education business? And the reason I ask this is that, out there in the space, I'm not going to name names, but there are some people who say, oh, you just need to do a webinar, or they'll say, oh, you need to create an online course. And some will say, no, go and do coaching. And so, like, in your opinion, what exactly is a financial education business?
Yeah, I think based on my own, I think my guess is you might have a different perception, but my own perception or my own understanding of this word, what it really means is, I would say a business. I mean, it kind of, I think it's self-explanatory, but I think a lot of I think there's a misconception or very like a negative light, especially the info space. Most people think it's just like scaling webinars after just pure scaling, and I'm just like milking the shit out of the industry. So I think it's what people perceive, but I think a very healthy perspective of what exactly a FinEd is, which is understand that this thing that you're building or our clients are building, it's a place for students to learn how to invest or trade, or to learn property investing or personal finance in general, in a very, very safe environment, right? So very simply, yes, getting customers is one thing. However, it's getting results for them is also another thing, which is, I think it's not a very sexy topic among this industry, but I think there's a huge important element in building a recurring business. Because one of our clients also, I mean, they focus on the product. Like I would say the founders focus maybe like, I don't know, my guess is 60-70% of the time on building that product and community. And man, I think that they are doing really, really well right now because their recurring revenue is just crushing it. So I think that's my definition of FinEd, which is really delivering a place or building a space for people to learn how to invest and of course get results. And in return, as a result, you'll be building a very awesome business that can thrive in 2021. Depending what time when you're watching the video. Yeah.
Or depends, maybe we are seeing this video in 2 or 3 years' time. The principles here that we are going to share, we believe, apply to any period, whether it's in 2021, maybe even 2031. Because I think for anyone in business, it is a fact of of things that things will only get more, industry will only get more competitive. The ad costs are going to rise. Getting like even organic traffic, all that, it's going to be a challenge because as more people start using these platforms, as it gets more crowded, the visibility that any business can get is going to drop as well. And so what we really be ready to look at, what Ted really pointed out, is that in this space that we are in, really knowing how to stand out from your competitors and really knowing how to deliver something that others are not, it's really so key. And beyond that, it's also about how do you then grow your revenue. So actually there's 2 terms that that Ted used that I'd like to share a bit. He shared this goal that is being set for all of these financial education businesses. And he said that the goal is for the AAR to be greater than the OPEX. So I realized for some of you all listening that you might not catch that immediately. So I'll just break down these terms. For AAR basically is for the ARR, I mean, the AR is a army term for mixed up with this. It's ARR, it's the annual recurring revenue. It's more than the OPEX, which is the operating expenses. And whatever is in between that, it's really the profits of the company. And in general, is that there are more exact terms to it, but that's the definition that we'll be going with. So yeah, I thought it was really it's really very interesting thing. And maybe if you are, let's say, maybe just for those who are thinking of starting this business on their own. So why would you say it's a good reason to start a business like this? Like why is a good reason to start a financial education business?
In my own opinion, definitely you have to be very, very great at what you do in terms of investing, trading, or whatever is it they do, forex, crypto. Definitely you have to be very, very good at what you do. And one thing which I started to really treasure a lot is putting your skill set and your experience and your collective, yeah, I mean mistakes also to pilot into something that people can learn from. I think it's a important thing to actually pilot into a framework, a proven framework that people can learn. Because we are also trying to do that to systemize our business. But I think there's one thing very important is something that you must like. Definitely be very good at what you do. You like to make things into a framework, like to teach it to people. I think when you see or when you feel a sense of fulfillment when you see people get results, I think there's something like could be an indicator that this might be a potential career, potential business for yourself. I genuinely think like people who go into this industry purely for money, generally they don't do the best because if you optimize purely for profit, then you can't lose sight on why the business exists in the first place, and why it should exist is mainly because you serve customers, right, and get customers results. So yeah, I think generally if you're good at what you do, have some decent track record, you like teaching people, you enjoy, I would say maybe like a lifestyle kind of business. You enjoy building a community, enjoy talking to people, enjoy coaching people. Like you like to see people get results, like to push people. I think this is a potential. I think this is a good trait. I think in all our clients, because looking at all our clients, all of them have. All of them are kind of like they're doing well, they're doing very well financially. Like they don't have to build a business to grow their income, right? Their income from investments are doing okay. But I think what they're really doing is like they really like to pass down their info, pass down their knowledge, experience to people. Whether is it to their team, students, be a mentor to people. I think if this is something that you have maybe a inner voice telling you that this is something that you like, I don't know, that is something you might want to consider. Yeah. If not, I think maybe not because it's if not, you're not ugly. Yeah.
But I think that's really so true. Like, I think from the clients that we work, you can tell that they really have a heart for their students and they're really very interested and passionate about the topic of investing or trading as well. And I think we use these terms in a more loose way because I think the financial education space, or we call it the FinEd space for short, really consists of many categories. You have the people in the doing stocks, you have the people doing options, you have those in forex, in crypto even, which has been quite popular recently, and other things like personal finance. How do you manage your budget, your expenses, things like that? All of these things. Oh, right, and real estate. How could I forget it? Real estate, property, things like that. And I think all of this just really goes to show how wide the potential for the financial businesses are. And I think it's really something that we believe it's really very powerful as well, because I think as the cost of living keeps going up and as life gets tougher in general, I think many people nowadays are really exploring the option of a second stream of income. And I think that's really where the whole financial education thing comes in, which is to help people create um, this new way that they can be more safe, be less reliant on or where they are in their circumstances, and really building something that's far more impactful in the long term. And so with all of that though, as much as we would like to pursue these dreams of finding people and of building great businesses, I think it's but so let's say that let's say if I'm someone who has this dream, who has this vision of starting my own financial education business, and next year I dive into it. So what do you think are the danger pitfalls that I may have, or what are the problems that I might face when I first start out?
I think the first issue that you face is definitely an imposter syndrome. I mean, okay, this is subjective. If let's say you have a lot of experience, then definitely you won't have that. But I'll say if let's say maybe you got some results for maybe the 5 8 years, you might have a bit of imposter syndrome because right now you're just stepping into the industry with a lot of giants, right? There are companies like 7 8 figure companies who have been doing this for years, and I think it's one of the thing which I consistently see across people, across our clients, past clients or prospects that speak to us, or that are coaching clients. I think they feel sometimes they feel some form of imposter syndrome, and I think it's normal. I think it's normal. I think it's the first issue, right? You gotta like there's a lot of limiting beliefs that will first that you first face. I think that's the first one. But yeah, I think the second one is the ability to charge people. This one is a tough one. So when I first onboarded this particular coaching client, he had difficulty increasing his price. Like he was just charging like $40 or something like that for Sing lah, I think Sing, for a 2 day class. And like I told him like this cannot go on for long because sure you can get people to support you and everything, but it's hard to sustain this business. So I was asking, why did you, or what made you want to like charge at this amount? He said, I think this is worth it. I think I want to keep this affordable. But I realized that there is a mindset that it's hard to overcome, because you always want to give value, give value, right? At a low cost. But what I realized, it isn't sustainable unless you're just doing it out of like passion, and you just want to stop at like your circle of friends, and that's all. So I think this is the second one. Um, I think third one also, um, in especially when you're a coach, right? I mean, if you're an investor trader, that's good. But when you're a coach also, um, sometimes it's hard for you to focus on many other areas of the business. You can coach really well, maybe you can invest and trade very well, you can teach very well. But I think what I realized is some of them might not have a very clear direction of like how to build, where to build the business, how do we get in marketing, how do we close, how do we have sales, how do you do product development, how do you train our team, what is the ideal model that kind of suits your own mission and vision of the company. All of these things I think are the three main challenges. I think I see this very often, and I think it's crucial that, I mean, if let's say someone's watching, wanna start, definitely these are three things you want to consider first. To really ask yourself also, are you prepared for all these? Yeah. So yeah, I think these are some of the challenges which I keep coming to me for the past 3 4 years. Coaching clients, our existing clients who just started out. Yeah.
Wow, it's I think it's true because I think sometimes out there for people who like sometimes without going to name names to really respect these people. Sometimes out there when they talk about things like how to start an online business, they make it sound like it's you just need to go and just set up a few things and then suddenly magically sales will come in. But fortunately, that's not the case. Ultimately, online business is still a business. Somehow people look at the online part, but the business part they don't really see that way. And I think no matter how we look at it,
I want to share something also, because
sure.
I think, I mean, in the info space, right? Like there's a lot of like like courses teaching how to get customers via ads and everything. So I mean, if you're not really careful, if you don't really know what you're doing, if tech and everything is not really your strength, and if you try to dive into it, um, you might end up losing money unnecessarily, because all these courses teach you how to run ads, spend money on ads and everything, and before you know it, maybe you're down $2,000-3,000, and you'll be feeling a bit negative, right, to continue. So yeah, this is one of the thing which I realize it's a thing to be wary of, I think. Yeah, but I think generally speaking, it's I'll say optimal. It's very very useful if you want to start out organically. Then you start some form of YouTube channel, a blog, some form of content, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, everything. I think that works. But I think that's a very good place to start. Yeah.
Okay, so right, I think that's really so true that when you start out, sometimes organic work, sometimes even maybe paid ads on a small budget work as well. All of these things really just serve to give that initial momentum that's required to really get the traction for the business as well. And so now maybe let's take a look on the more happy side of things, and let's describe what a successful FinEd business would look like. So maybe you can explain what the life of our clients look like now, and maybe what an ideal FinEd business would look like. Maybe you can share some of your thoughts.
Okay, so that's a good question. It really depends on the founders themselves. Some want to stay. Some of them want to stay, or some that are comfortable at a certain size. Which I mean, like if let's say they're comfortable at, let's say, 6 figures a month, then okay, then it's fine if they want to stop there. Some clients want to grow bigger. They want to grow a team, grow a bigger company, 7 8 figures. It really depends. So so that's why I say it really depends. Some of our clients are very free to have their own lifestyle and everything. Some of our clients, they are stressed because they're always aiming bigger. Especially when you reach a certain stage, you kind of want to take yourself out of business and you train the trainers, right? So there's a completely different stage, which is I slightly later. But yeah, I'll say an ideal business. Let me see. I think an ideal business really, it's a very very subjective. It really depends on what the vision of the founder has. If this this coach or this founder prefers not to build a community, but to serve, let's say, high net worth people, or just to serve a small group of people, then I think an ideal business, a definition of ideal business for him is just to serve this group of people, and they of course stay with him long term. I think some other clients, they prefer like, like I want to build a big community of investors. So I think in that sense, a recurring model, uh, a very strong recurring model with long lifetime value, is definitely, I'll say, ideal, because I think when you are dealing with large community, definitely need like a lot of operational support, customer support. You need trainers. You have office and everything. Um, it's definitely ideal if you have like a recurring revenue to actually cover your expenses, your monthly expenses, pay your trainers, pay your um, operations team, pay your marketing and everything. So yeah, but I think it really depends on the vision of the founder.
Oh wow, I think it's a really I think that's a good explanation, because ultimately I think I've learned something also, that in a sense that every founder has a different vision. And let's say if you're someone who's looking to start your own FinEd business, it really depends on where you want to take it. Let's say if you want to run it like a lifestyle business, like maybe get like Stat said, serve the high net worth people, just a few of them. Yeah, that could work. Or you could also go to the other extreme where um like for some people that we work with, they are building communities, they are growing their business regionally, they are looking to expand the people that in their community on a very large, and even I would say even a global scale. And that's the other end that we see. So I think everyone is looking for a different thing, and the financial education business really, it's a very unique model that it really allows for this whole range of possibilities. So yeah, I think that's really great insight into how this whole thing can really serve the founders of these businesses as well. And so I think now now will be a very interesting time, because since the start of this whole episode, we have been teasing about this 5-step FEBA process. And just to share with you all, finally, the FEBA process actually is spelled as FEBA, and it stands for the Financial Education Business Accelerator. The naming is kudos to that who came up with this. And so right now, this is the part that you guys watch this video for. So what exactly is this 5-step process, and how about we start with step 1 right now? So we'd like to share a bit.
Okay. I'm afraid I forget. Okay, but anyway, so the first step is we actually serve our clients based on 5 different phases. Each phase has its own unique timeline and specific thing that we do. So the first one, we actually call it warm knife through butter. Cheesy name. But very simply, what it means is to find a marketing message, a marketing angle, finding out the client's unique proposition, unique mechanism, unique method, so that they can stand out in a sea of competitors. And that really is the first step. I see a lot of so our clients also engage agencies in the past. I see one of the biggest issue, the biggest problem which they face is when they onboard an agency, or when they hire an agency to help them run their campaigns, they actually skip phase 1 and just go straight into like running Facebook ads or YouTube ads or whatever. And usually what happens is that because the marketing message isn't right, they don't find a way to communicate how they're different or how they're unique in their industry. Usually the lead cost is high, right? Either lead cost is high, or it's up and down, or your webinar isn't converting. So the first step really before even run traffic is to do. In fact, I think this one we spend like how long? 1 to 2 months. 1 to 2 months really refining, researching, going deep into the client's product and class and service to really find out like what's exactly unique about this compared to the other people in the industry. And really, it's not easy. I think for some like agency or marketer to just come in and like able to do that, because this person needs to have domain knowledge in finance, investing, trading, or whatever your field is, and he has to understand like what the competitors are doing in terms of like how are they positioning themselves in the market. So like to differentiate our clients, we have to first understand the competitors, what they are saying, what they're putting out. And if we don't do that, then how would we know that the message we crafted for our clients is different? We will never know that unless we actually do research for our competitors. So yeah, that is really the first step. Without that, it's very hard for your campaigns to succeed unless you're like Tony Robbins, you can close anything, sell anything. Yeah, so I think that really is the first step. Yeah, so um, it takes a while. It takes a while for us to actually dive deep because sometimes you go to extent of speaking with your customers. What's so special about your or what kind of attracts your customers to your brand, to your coach? What's so unique about your coach? What's so unique about your philosophy in investing? Is it methodology? Is it the way you conduct classes? Is it the way you select stocks, or is it the way you select properties? Like all these things, we actually dive very, very deep to find or to pull out that one thing which is different from the other from your competitors. So that is really the first step. And without that, like phase 2 to phase 5, you don't have to bother.
Okay, sure. That's a great overview of phase one. And I really like the image of the warm knife through butter, and I'd like to really explain a little bit more. So, imagine that the industry is this slab of butter. It's cold. It's just out of the fridge. Things very hard, and you can imagine that is like either your industry, or that is like the mind of your potential customer, which is very skeptical. It's very hard, and nothing is getting through. But what we aim to do in this first stage is to basically imagine this warm knife that's just cutting through all the skepticism, that's cutting through all the noise in the market and just reaching the core of it all, which is eventually leads them to for leads to stand out and eventually for them to become your customer and pay you. So I know that I'm just gonna pull you back slightly, and
Yeah.
let's say that I imagine that I don't know anything about marketing and I'm a completely new to this. So I'll be asking what is a marketing message, and what are the consequences if I get it wrong?
Good question. Okay, so I'll start with the second question. What happens if you get it wrong? What happens if you don't have it? You don't have a proper message. So what usually happens is that you will sound like the same as your competitors. So you probably sound like, let's say in the stocks field, stocks industry, you probably just sound like how to select your stocks, how to time, how to enter, when to exit, and how much to buy. Like if that sounds like you, then you're probably your message basically not probably not that like sharp, I would say, because when that happens, you sound like everyone else can say the same thing as you, and it's really hard to stand out, right? So when people attend your webinar, because at least in Singapore or in Malaysia as well, when people come into your webinar or come to your event or your pitch, they probably already attended many other pitches or webinars. So if your prospects come to your webinar and they hear the exact same thing, then they will have this thing in their head, which is what's so special about this course? Why do I have to attend this? Can I attend the other one, which is cheaper? So yeah, the first thing really it's important to find out a unique message. If you don't have that, then people will compare you with either how you look, do they like your face? If not, they choose the cheaper one. So that is the first thing. So next, what exactly is a right marketing message? First one, I think there's a few key elements. First one is of course finding out your natural audience. Who are the ones that naturally you attract, or who are the ones that naturally, uh, what are the kind of customers that naturally come to you. So based on our experience, some of our coaches, some of our clients tend to attract a certain group of people. Some introverts, maybe some in a certain job scope, some in a certain age. So that is something that we look at as well. Second one is unique mechanism, or unique mechanism, where we really find out what's so different about it. So once we have these two things, we actually craft out this thing called a big idea, right? Which is like what is an idea that makes your brand, your message so irresistible that when people see this idea, they cannot immediately buy into it. So that is something that we craft for our clients. And this takes quite a while, usually, because we really have to dive really deep, because a lot of research that happens before. I mean, some of our clients we also do like some survey forms. I think it's really old school. It's really old school. So I was like back in uni a couple of years ago, studying marketing also, and talking about like surveys, like to find out like sample size and everything. So it's something that we practice here as well. So yeah, with these three components, It's easier to craft out like your YouTube videos, your YouTube ads, your Facebook ads. You kind of find out like what tends to work better. And at the same time, with all these things in place, you can also then craft your webinar. And when people come to webinar, they understand it's different. They understand how you're different from the rest, and there's definitely a high chance on why they would buy your stuff. So that is, I would say, a good how we actually find out a marketing message for our clients.
Wow, wow. So imagine this is just phase one. We still have 4 more stages to go. And what we'll do right now is to really go through each stage and to really show how each one is so critical to really growing your financial education business. And so right now, of course, I'll just really just describe it a little about how these frameworks are. And right now we'll transition from phase one, which is, remember, the warm knife through butter, to stage two, which is called opening the floodgates of leads and sales.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that in phase one, you're struggling to find your message, but once you've found that one thing that allows you to stand out from a marketplace, and you're giving great webinars, great ways to sell your product, and people are buying. The next challenge that many of these people face is that they are selling a lot. They have to speak every week. They have to prepare for even days, and they find themselves sadly very burnt out. And so what is the one of the things that we can do as well? It's really to actually, I think I'll let her answer this. So what happens when you are doing so many live webinars and you're very drained out? So what is the next thing that needs to be done in order to open the floodgates of leads and sales?
Yeah, so after like you have your marketing message right, how we define right is, of course, we do tests, and it brings in a decent lead cost, and of course it converts. Once that happens, then we amplify it. We basically just open the floodgates. We basically on our traffic from Facebook and YouTube, and that's where the leads actually come in. So in fact, this is the part where is, I would say, or rather, like the more of the work is actually done on the phase one than phase two. Phase two is just like all execution, that's all. But a lot of the brain work is done on phase one. So, anyways, opening the floodgates is just getting in more leads. So we're just amplifying our message, right? And we amplify a message that converts, that works. Then basically you can see yourself. You can see our clients' webinar converting. So then the next one is automating webinars, because for some of our clients, I realized after doing webinars, so one this particular client was doing 2 to 3 webinars every single week last time, and then one day I see, he like get fatter a bit. yeah. So he's like stressed and everything because he's doing like sales. He's also doing marketing. He's also doing operations. He's also doing the training side. Like, I'm not surprised, right? So it's important. Or rather, I told him like, hey, you got to do something about it. Let's try to automate your webinar. So very simply, that's what we did. And right now, he has more time to work on other areas of his business, improve his product. But very simply, I think that is also one of the very important things that we help our clients do, which is automate their webinars. So very simply, after, let's say, your live webinar or your sales process is proven, what you try to do is to automate it. Automate the webinar, automate certain sales process, automate certain emails, certain automations, so that like leads and sales are basically coming in every single day. So that's one of the key things which is very very crucial to growth, because I mean, if let's say a client has a very small team, right, then I think it's important that he automates his webinar fast, because there's probably a lot of things that's pulling him in different areas. And if your stuff isn't automated, then like your business will kind of snowball into certain areas. Like it could be like operations kind of die down, or hiring issues, or business model issues, or customer support issues. So like the trainers and the founders, like there's a lot of for them to handle, right? So one of the key things which you really do first, which is really free the founders or the coaches out of the time, so that they can focus on delivering better services, products, and also improving the business as a whole, rather than just like webinars. So yeah, I'll say there's a key thing to the first step to scaling, which is actually the phase number 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, before we go into phase number 3, I can see I'm very excited to jump there. But let's stay in phase 2 for a while more. And I'm really going to think about what's the thing about this automated webinar, and why is it so important for a business? Like let's say if I'm new to this whole space of funnels and webinars, right? So maybe let's dive a bit deeper. What's a for those that's really completely new to this, right? What is a webinar, and what does it mean to have it automated?
Yeah. Okay. So let's understand what's a webinar, right? So a webinar is something like this. I don't know. Okay, it's more of a podcast. But it's like, let's say I go on Facebook, I see an event or like a page, I click on it and I see this like live event that's happening on a certain date. I click on it, attend it. That's basically a webinar, or you can call it a virtual event. And a webinar usually is about anywhere from 1 hour to 2 hour plus, really depending. And what happens during the webinar, the speaker and the coach give some form of value, teach his concept, teach his investing methodology. And at the end of the webinar, usually he does a pitch to actually get clients or get students to actually attend his class or attend his course, buy his course or whatever. So there's a webinar. And usually that's how clients get sales. So then, what does automating a webinar mean? So automating a webinar mean very simply, instead of the coach go live, let's say every Wednesday or every Saturday or every Sunday, we automate that process so that they just do a webinar maybe once every 3-4 months or once every 6 months, and then everything is automated. So, uh, yeah, I mean for them it's definitely a win-win. Even though maybe automated webinar might have a lower margin, but with this is something I'll talk about phase 3. But with a very strong business model, a very strong sales process, it's definitely worth it. Yeah, to give it extra time.
Okay, wow. What would you say are the benefits? I like the way you put this automated webinar sounds really cool. Like if I'm hearing you correctly, it almost sounds illegal. It's like a money making machine that doesn't need to be there. Imagine there's like you have this recorded webinar and you just use the right software and you build your funnel right such that people are just coming in and you are making your presentation, your pitch to them, and they buy all without you being involved. And the next time you have to touch it is 3 or 4 months later. So imagine, let's say you have automated webinar that's running right now. Let's say it's in July, and maybe 4 months later you can just look at it. Oh, this webinar has brought in X amount of revenue, and this X amount can be quite substantial if you are in this space and your webinar does convert. And it's only after these 4 months that you may have to make some tweaks in order to stay relevant to your market. But during the time that your webinar is automated, you can imagine what it's like that there's automated software doing the selling, doing even the marketing for you if you set it up right. And in the meantime, you're free to do whatever you want. If you are the type that likes to sit on the beach and drink coconuts, that could be something you can do. But as of the time we are filming this video, we can't travel, so that may be out. Or maybe you're the type that wants to go for a staycation, or that we don't know. Or if you are also the type of person that wants to use the extra time to improve your product, to improve the quality and the value you bring to your customers, then this time that you save from selling and marketing, that it's being solved with the automated webinar, it's time that you can use to grow your business, make your customers happy, and build lifelong fans for your business. And so this is really the goal of phase 2, which is how do you bring that, remember the warm life through butter at the start, and then now we go into this phase where we open the floodgates of leads and sales. Everything just comes gushing in. And then now they come to the very interesting thing, which is phase 3. And you give me a moment, I need to check my script because I have forgotten what phase 3 is. Yes. Phase 3 is called building the rocket. And
Yeah.
I think it's a very, very cool image. Like imagine this space shuttle just flying towards the moon or whatever planets out there. And it's a phrase that's quite popular right now. Crypto to the moon, all the Dogecoin, the different cryptos that are said. So what exactly does this, now that you have this automated webinar, you have the message that stands out.
Yep.
What is the next step that's required in order to grow this financial education business?
Yeah. So before I explain, I want to give an analogy of say a SaaS company selling I don't know, let's say Spotify. Do you know how much Spotify sells its package for?
Spotify,
$10 a month.
I got the family package, so I pay like $250 a month.
Okay,
so it might not be the best example.
Okay, so let's say, okay, let's give it some chance. Maybe let's say 10 bucks a month, right? Let's assume. So let's say I'm trying to sell a product for, let's say, $10 over a webinar. It's like 100% chance it will not be profitable. And we won't even be thinking about automating that webinar, which is selling a $10 product, right? So that is the first thing really, which is um, like first you need to understand that to grow the business or to scale the business with ads, not all model works. So let's say I'm trying to sell a $5 product. I mean, to be more realistic, let's say I'm trying to sell a $5 course or 2-day class. It's only a matter of time that your webinar hit a ceiling. Hitting a ceiling meaning like, the more I try to spend, the more I try to grow this business, it's just like it keeps capping, right? It's like my margin keeps dropping lower and lower and lower, right? So then you kind of stuck like, should I off the ads? Should I stop getting traffic? Should I stop spending? If I stop spending, I'll start getting customers. So what should I do, right? And this is one of the biggest problem with a lot of coaches, because like they don't know what to do. They don't know the price also. I think it's one issue that they face. Um, yeah, so the third phase really is just to piece things together. How do you actually make a model? How do you actually build a model, or to build certain product offerings, pricings in place so that it can become scalable? So example, if let's say I'm selling a $5 course, maybe on the front end meaning like if I'm selling the class alone, maybe let's say 90, no, maybe a 10%, 20% margin. I think that's fantastic already. But of course, beyond a certain point, beyond a certain, say, ad spend, you'd be like breaking even, right? So, but the key here is not to break even. The key here is to get as many people in as possible into your funnel, into your journey, into your business, so that at the end you can also maybe provide a better service for them to actually get results. And usually the other kinds of products at the back, it's the one that actually grows the business, right? In terms of profits wise, front end usually not many, not it's hard to like, not say it's hard to be profitable. Like I see many cases where it's profitable as well, but it's hard to like grow an 8-figure purely out of a $5 course selling over webinar. So in phase 3, what we do is to we work with our clients very, very closely, find out what is a product or what is a service or what is a coaching kind of thing that they can provide for a reasonable price, right? That can also, which is then phase 5, it comes later, which you can then build a recurring revenue around it, right? So we basically design the whole customer journey from them. Once they come into this, say, class, or they buy into this course, like what's next for them? After that thing happens, what's next for them? So we basically design this thing so that, even let's say the front end is not profitable, example, the back end can cover it, right? So that is, I would say, the true key driver to growth, especially right now in webinars, because ad cost is always increasing, right? Like it or not, it will not go down. I don't think it will go down, especially with all the privacy issues, iOS. There are more and more advertisers. It will always go up. That means if you don't have something at the back, if you don't have a customer journey, you don't have something for your customers to purchase something later on, your margins, you basically just seeing your business go down, your margins go down. So that's something very dangerous, especially if you have a huge team. You got to pay for rent, you got to pay for employees, pay for team members, pay for marketing also. That's something crucial that we do for our clients. So some of the results that I think, just to share an example, this is short, I don't know whether you know, but so I was working with this client. This one, this is the one that I'm consulting. So when I first started working with this person, he was making a decent money, 7 figures a year, not too bad. However, beyond a certain point, like, it's just very tiring for the person, number one. Number two is like hitting a ceiling. They try to spend more, then the margins drop, which is then of course eat to the company's profits. So last year, we implemented, I helped to craft a new offering at the back, restructure everything, find how it can fit to operations, fulfillment, customer journey, building everything. And recently, when was it? I think in May, they hit their 1 million a month. And I think this round they're on track to hit 3 million. So like 3x with just a shift in model, or just introducing another product offering in the back. So that is really the key to growth. At the front end, I mean, it's profitable. That's a good thing. But margins wise, it isn't sexy. Not much. Yeah, but with a very solid business model structure, yeah, I'll say that's the key to growth. And this is
Oh, wow.
basically what we do in phase 3. Yeah.
Wow, cool. So I think like well, it sounds like it's something quite different from how most people see it, because they look at the first product and they're like, oh, that's it. But that's actually not quite true, because as the ad costs come in and everything, eventually you need something else. You need a different product to offer, and to really make it and really grow the business to a point that it can be called a business and not just a single product. And so actually, for those of you who are new to this, there's actually this term that's been going around, and some people may not really be sure what this thing is. So what is this thing? I remember coming across this term called the high ticket product. And yeah, I remember seeing it here and there. And what exactly does it mean? Like, what is a high ticket product, and why is it so important for a business to have a high ticket product instead of like, I know you mentioned about how you can raise the margins and all of that, but what is so special about the high ticket product, and why is it so key for a financial education business?
Yeah. So high ticket again is very subjective. Some people see 1, 2K is high ticket. Some people see 10, 15K is a high ticket. So it really depends. So we really work with clients, right? We want to find out like, okay, what kind of business do you want to build? Do you want to build like a huge community, reach out to masses, or do you just want to serve a select group of people? Usually these people tend to have a high capital to invest, and they have a bigger problem that they want to solve. So it really depends on their objective. If let's say they want to build a community, then of course you want to price your high ticket thing slightly more affordable, maybe 2, 3K per year. I would say that is also considered a high ticket thing. Yeah, but I would say I mean, so there's one scenario, right? So the other scenario is, let's say a client prefers to build a smaller community. Charging higher is you should, because again, if let's say you don't have that, then your margin, your imagine your business margin is like up down up down up down. One month is like very high, the next month is like very low. So that is absolutely crucial to have that. So what would happen if you don't have? Is that your question? The second question.
I think the question, what is, yes, actually that's a question as well.
Yeah.
What happens without a back-end high ticket product? And maybe the question also is, what is a high ticket product? I think the question is, how is a high ticket product so important? But I think Freddie answered that the high ticket product really allows a business to absorb the ad costs and all of the initial expenses, and then whatever comes at the end, it's really the profit that the company has. So I think that the question, we change it up a bit. What happens when a company doesn't have a back end product?
Okay, good question. I think yeah, I suddenly recall what I wanted to share. So there's first I want to share is, later I'll get your question. Okay. But the first one is why high ticket? Why not like we just sell another $500 product, serve them for 1 year, etc. etc. So this is something which I learned, which I believe is absolutely true in life also. So let's say two scenarios. First scenario, I charge very low, maybe $47 a month, which is of course affordable, right? And second scenario, I charge them maybe 3K a year, which is I think a few $100 per month. So two scenarios. First one, everyone can go in. Second scenario, maybe those who are very committed and serious will go in. So the first group, however, like because it's so affordable, everyone wants to join in. What usually happens is results usually don't show. Results mean like the clients don't actually get results because the people that it's going into the clients or our clients community, it's like they're just kind of interested but maybe not very committed to their success, right? And there's an issue because if you are building that, what happens is people might complain, oh, I don't get results from this, oh, I lose money from this, right? So there's one issue. I'll say why it's also important to charge a decently high amount, maybe not obsessively high, but say decently high enough for like only serious people to go in. Second one is also like why high ticket, meaning like at least a few K, because I strongly believe that if you pay more, the more you apply. Yeah, you pay more, the more you apply, right? And also definitely it attracts high quality people who are serious about it. They're not just in it to learn more, but they're really in it to actually see their life change, right? They pay the money already, it hurt them a little bit, then they gotta like see it all the way to the end. So that's I think one key thing to think about in high ticket, right? Some people I've seen, because some coaches also consult me, right? Should I, I just want to sell a SaaS model kind of thing, like I just sell super cheap, $10 a month. I honestly am not a fan of that because like I'm pretty sure like probably your students will not get like like results, right? And what happens? You know what happens, right? People will complain, bad PR, etc., etc. People will be bad mouthing you that your results or you don't get results for your students. Yeah. So the next question is why? What happens if you don't have a back end product? So what happens if you don't have a back end product? Very simply, so for those starting out or maybe those who are not so familiar with marketing, maybe just a coach, the issue of marketing, right? It's very rarely that your cost per sale, your cost per acquisition is stagnant. Like it's always up down up down up down. Some months might be very high, depending on the competition, depending on different scenarios. Some months might be very very low because of market crash. Emotions are high. People want to learn more. So it really depends. And if your margins are fluctuating so badly, then how can you actually confidently, predictably spend more and also to hire more people? Like it's always a big question mark, right? And I think one of the biggest concerns, let's say you hire somebody, and then next month your margin drops to let's say 10-20%, and then the next month it drops again, then you be probably like pretty worried lah, because you don't know like what's going to happen the next month. So I'll say it's always important to have something that you have at the back to at least kind of sustain your business. So that is yeah, I'll say what happens if you don't exactly have something to offer your students at the back.
Wow, wow. So yeah, so this is really the whole process that we go through for this third stage of building the rocket that really allows a business to grow exponentially to a point that really can be quite substantial. So I think I'd like to just wrap it up over here because this third stage is really goes very, very deep and it really is a game changer. And if you were to go into this podcast will turn into an entire online course
Movie.
already, the whole third stage alone. So this is something that we work with our clients on. It's something that we consult them that consultants really very deeply on, and it's really we think it's the key. It's what people don't see, and we don't think many people are talking about this thing. So it's really something that's a bit more private, a bit more exclusive, and this part of implementing a high ticket model or back end, it's really not for everyone. But for those who are able to clear this stage and to really put in this high ticket model, that's where the gate opens up for them to be able to enter phase 4 of growing the financial education business. And that's really the phase called planting the flag deep. So actually, at that, I don't know what that means actually. So maybe you can share more about what's this. What does it mean to plant the flag deep? And what happens at this stage now that there's a high ticket model, there's an automated webinar, and there's a great marketing message out there. So what is this whole
Yeah.
phase 4 about?
Yeah, good question. So, how did I come up with the name? Very simply, it means that you just like on the moon, like when you first go to the moon, or even not maybe not even the moon, you climb a mountain, right? I just want to like plant your flag there, like this is my spot, or I've overcome this. So this is exactly what you're trying to do in your marketing, in your business. So number one, phase one, if you remember, we crafted your message, right? So crafted how you're different and everything. So phase 4 is where we really like solidify it. Like everything is proven, everything is tested, proven, everything is converting. We wanna mark our spot there. Like my dog, right? I don't know, just the best example. Like when I take my dog out for walks, he marks his spot lah, basically. Same, right? So this is the part where we actually do more organic strategies to really just like let people know this is my thing, this is my expertise, or this is something that you cannot touch, right? And of course that's what we try to do also at phase 1. But a lot of times, like, people can just copy your messaging, right? And that's something that we want to like solidify in phase 4, which is like, let's say we try to differentiate you from this using this marketing message. If you really want to mark our spot, you really want to plant the flag deep, to claim like this is our thing, our message, we're going to dive very, very deep organically. So referrals, organic, maybe affiliates, finding hubs, JVs, and everything. We just plant our foot solid there, so that it's hard for people to come into our message, into our area. And that is really where we dive a little bit deeper into referral strategies, organic strategies, to really like just solidify and wrap that whole thing up, so that it forms a very omni-channel marketing. Messaging wise, it's very, very clear. Email wise, the messaging email, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, organic. Um, when people talk about you, they are clear of what your brand is about. They are clear on what your messaging is about and how it's different from the rest. So this is the part where I'll say it requires more work, because it's not like It's not like ads. You just turn on and like 1,000 leads come in. It takes a while. So it's the part where we actually guide our clients to actually what kind of strategies should you use for, let's say, organic, a blog, or YouTube. This is something that we cover with our clients. And the end outcome, very simply, it's people are very, very clear what your messaging is, and like you cannot claim the space. Yeah.
Well, I think I've heard of this term called, I think some of the, depending on how experienced you are, there's this thing called omni-channel marketing. And maybe you can share, like, maybe in light of the, like, let's say, ad account bans or iOS changes, or maybe even maybe for those who are familiar with SEO, there are things like the Google algorithm updates. I think it was called Penguin, if I'm not wrong. So maybe it's maybe in light of this, maybe can you share what is or why is it so important to really diversify your traffic sources?
Yeah. This is also the part where we actually do a bit of diversifying our traffic, like finding JVs, emails, other traffic platforms. But yeah, very simply, what's omni-channel marketing? Why is it important? So the word omni, I think it stems from the word is it Greek? Is it Greek? I don't know.
Probably.
So it stands for like being all present or something like that. It's like everywhere. So omni-channel meaning like I'm everywhere in different marketing channels. It could be Facebook, it could be a blog, it could be a YouTube channel, it could be your Facebook page, Instagram page, email. These are marketing channels. And this so omni means I'm basically everywhere in these channels. And also importantly, your messaging is consistent in all these channels. So something that we also help our clients to work on. And once like all these things come together, it's like messaging becomes super clear at scale. And that is not easy. So once that happens, like like people can just come to your site, opt in for a webinar organically. I think there's a part where like the business is kind of like have lesser risk, because let's say your ad account bans, YouTube account ban or whatever, that always happens. Your business will continue to get sales. Yeah, and that is the part that we really work on, because if let's say some reason your ad account got banned or your marketing manager ad account got banned, Facebook profile got banned, like there isn't an issue. Yeah, so that's basically what we work on in phase 4.
Wow, I think maybe like maybe on top of that, as an extension of the organic traffic, would you say that being omni-channel marketing helps a coach or a speaker become more of an authority figure? Do you think there's an effect of that?
Does it become an authority? It really depends on. I mean, definitely. Imagine like you go to YouTube and Facebook. No, when you go to YouTube, before you watch a video, you see this person in the ad, right? Coach A. Then next one, you go to Facebook, you also see this person. Next one, you go to Google, this certain blog, and at the side, you also see this person. And this happens over and over again throughout the day. I mean, of course, depending on the messaging, you can be positioned as an authority, but also if done wrong, people can be annoyed at your face, at your brand. So it really depends on. I mean, all these other strategies, but that's why I think phase 1 is really important. That it really is the root of everything. If there's no root, the tree will topple. Don't know if that makes sense. But yeah. So yeah, definitely it can. It works both ways, I think. It can bring up its authority, but it can also like bring you down of like people call you scammers and everything. You can annoy people also.
Yeah, I think now that you have shared this, a thought just struck my head. So I think omni-channel marketing, it's for those of you, if you are watching this and you are in the FinEd space or in the financial space, omni-channel marketing is really like leverage. It's really like your contract for differences. It's really like your options that if you use it right, there is a huge upside to it. But when you use it wrongly, unfortunately, there are huge costs as well. And really for those of you who are in the financial space, leverage when things go wrong can get very, very ugly. And it's just similar. It's the same analogy that you can draw to omni-channel marketing. And I think this is really where the difference can lie. It's either a huge thing and a huge success that amplifies the
Yep.
already powerful business model, but done wrongly, it can also lead to the ruin of a business that really has been built with blood, sweat, and tears, as they like to call it. So that's really phase 4. And last but not least, we then come to phase 5, which is called the stage of being being able to set sail and conquer. So maybe you can share what is this last stage about, and why is it the final milestone of the financial education journey?
Yeah, so when I came to the name called Set Sail and Conquer, I don't know. So some context, I was playing this Xbox game. So when I came to the name, this was in my mind. So I was playing this Xbox game, and I basically completed the stage, and it's time for me to proceed on to the next stage and next stage and next stage. So I mean, this was like I can't remember how long ago, maybe 5 6 years ago when I was still playing, but so I completed this stage, and so like there is a at the end of like every chapter, there's like a little scene where they show you like what's gonna happen next chapter. So I recall playing this game. I can't remember what it is. Um, if I do, I'll type it in the chat. But very simply, at the end, they show this thing of a boat setting sail, right? Moving on to the next phase. So this is something that we also do for our clients, which is once you finish your mission here, there's something what's next. So two things happen down here. Number one, we work with you on how to actually create a recurring business. Of course, like all these things we already set in place, but how do we actually create um, the kind of delivery, the kind of service that customers will feel bad not paying you after it's time to renew. So that's something that we work with you. Number two is also, once let's say locally, like let's say in Singapore and Malaysia or another country, once like it's fixed, we work with you also how to expand. Expansion is another problem altogether. Some people think I can just like wait the ads and I see how that works out. Even though that might work sometimes, we prefer to take it um, a proper approach where we try to localize everything, and that is really where I'll say you can establish a very very strong presence in that specific country. If not, it's just like, Sean, have you ever like open Facebook and then see some angmo, not angmo, like some foreigner that's appearing on your feed
Yeah,
and trying to sell you stuff?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens if you don't localize your stuff. So that is something that is very unsustainable. It hurts your branding as well, right? That is very very short term minded, in my own opinion. So our approach is we want to build a long term brand with you. So we do it. We try to localize everything from messaging to brand, to the people and everything. So that's what we do. And repeat the whole process for the next country. Yeah, do it over and over again until I don't know, until you're happy. Until our clients are happy. So yeah, so that's what we do lah. We work with our clients very very long term. I think agencies usually like work with clients on a very short term basis, maybe 2 3 months per campaign. Ours, we want to work with you all the way. Yeah, so that's basically what we do.
Mm. Wow,
Yep.
wow. I think this is really where the stage at this last stage, things are really very different. It's altogether a different space because it's no longer about how do I get more leads, how do I get more sales, how do I sell my course, things like that. Because the questions that we ask in stage 5 are very different. It's how do we conduct regional expansion? How do we grow our total addressable market? How do we then move to really grow this business and build a large community? How do we then really make it something that's sustainable, that's growing and really becomes a whole new truly a whole new business on its own? And I think that's not as in we have a business from the start, but
Yeah.
at the fifth stage, things are really very it's on a totally different scale altogether. And I think that is the end goal for those who choose to go down this path. And I think all of this really just goes to really wrap it all up. It's this 5-stage process that the clients go through, which is in the first stage, it's just it's a simple thing, just finding the right message to market match, what's special about you, what's your, maybe some will call it a unique selling proposition. We have different terms for that. And then once you have that thing in your first stage, you move on to the second stage, which is where you start selling and you start automating it. So you have this um, asset that helps you generate revenue for the company. And then once you have that, you then move into the third stage, which is where now you have this cash generating machine. How do you amplify, how do you grow it and increase the margins by implementing this thing called the high ticket model? And then the fourth stage comes in where you have this high ticket model, the automated webinar in place. Then how do you then move to leverage this by using organic traffic? How do you make more use and amplify what you have with other sources of traffic as well? And finally, with all these things in place, it goes to the final milestone of being able to stick a business and grow it regionally as well. And this stage 1 to stage 5 process is really quite, I would say it comes from a different space as compared to many other be it marketers or agencies out there, which is just we help you get more leads, we help you get more sales. But how we approach things is really comes from a different space where we really want to go through this entire thing with you, such that it's not just about bringing in leads, which as Stat shared earlier, have a lot of issues because those leads may not be so good, it may not convert. But when you bring it through the whole process, there's total alignment, and it's really a way to reach huge goals and to really make a difference and to really build something that's really what we believe to be the ideal version of a financial education business. But maybe beyond all of that, maybe you can share what is so special about this financial education industry to you, and why are you doing this thing in the first place? What was your purpose for this?
Yeah, good question. So why did I get into the industry? Number one, I realized when I was first starting out, I realized the people around me, because I actually, although use the word grow up, it's kind of weird. I think in my early 20s and even before my 20s, I was hanging out a lot of like full-time investors. And many of them were actually they have their own causes and they have their own things that they want to sell. Not because they want to make money, they are already like financially free and but they just want to do it like out of passion and out of like nothing better to do. So yeah, basically I started out with them and helping these people also kind of getting more leads and sales for their stuff. And so definitely I got them some results. And then I think there was this one point in time where like I started to start a business on site, but I didn't know exactly what to do. I knew I was okay at marketing, but I didn't really know like who are my target clients, who are the ones that I can help the best. And that's where I realized, I realized actually all the clients which I'm working with, right, all investing coaches, right? And all then the results, I think not bad. Yeah. So some like grown from zero. Since I started working with them from a blogger or from a YouTuber right now making 3 million a month. I think that's insane growth. And that's basically what we had them to do. Yeah, but very simply, I think that's like my natural audience. People just come to, I mean, they come to us for help. I think also because I myself started as an investor also. I understand investing, I understand trading, I understand stocks, property as well. So I think that's what got me into this industry. Like basically we can, I would say vibe. That's the right word. I understand them. I understand their customers also. I understand their business. So yeah, that's one. Uh, what's the second question? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why
What
am I
was
doing
the
this?
purpose?
What's my purpose? Yeah.
Mm.
So here at TBA, short for the British Agency, we have a very scary vision. I think it's a scary vision, which is one. So I mean, if let's say you're in Singapore, Malaysia, or Asia in general, all these investing causes are seen as a scam because there's a lot. I mean, the barrier to entry is very very low, and people want to. I mean, it's so easy for people to get in and sell dirt, like sell like either scam products or like they just into just milk money. So what you want to do, and because of that, like it's very tainted. This industry is seen as sketchy sometimes. That's why you see on YouTube a lot of like people, a lot of YouTubers giving reaction videos to all these ads, and as a result, all of these businesses also got affected, right? So why we are here in this business again, we want to actually make financial education courses classes a norm, so that like just how school, like it's very normal to go to school to learn say maths. We're gonna make that norm a norm for financial education because we see there's a gap, right? That's number one. Number two, we also see a lot of like scams. We want to help those ethical coaches, those who are already doing pretty well, in a sense that they're good at what they do, and they want to start a coaching, a fin-ed business. We're gonna help them so that we can weed out all those scammers. Yeah, so that's basically why I'm doing this. Why TBA exists.
Wow, that's I think that's a great vision. I think that's part of the reason why I joined the team as well. And I think it's really to show that we really want to not just make it something like just a sales or just selling courses or that, but we want to really legitimize this as something that's a part of the fabric of education, where we really make financial literacy a thing that's well taught, that's readily available, and of course trusted as well in this space where there are unfortunately some black sheep. So that's where we come from. And I think really to like, wow, that's there's a lot that's been shared in today's interview. I think it's probably been the longest episode that we've had so far. We are well over time, and so
Yeah.
maybe to really wrap it all up, what would be one, or maybe in like 2 3 sentences, like say if there's someone who's really just fresh, who's maybe good at trading, good at investing, and
Yeah.
wants to begin their journey, what would be a quick a short thing that you would tell them?
Yeah, never thought about that. I think generally you have to be aware that, um, or at least you must know why you want to go into this. Is it, I don't know, is it because you have nothing better to do, or is it you really like wanna? Look, I don't know, like some full-time investors really nothing better to do, so they come and like do these kind of things. But you have to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Is it because you want to build a community? You want to see other people succeed? Because I see both groups of in that a few types of people. Some like they because they have achieved some level of success at a very, very early age, they want to spread, they want to teach and educate. Some same situation, they reach some level of success, but they like don't want to, they just want to be left alone. Like they just want to have their own free time and everything, which they definitely deserve. So depends. So definitely ask yourself why do you want to start this if you're interested also. Um if you got nothing better to do, better to do, maybe you want to start small. Like maybe it's just like helping a few clients, like so more of like consulting kind of thing, right? Maybe 5 10 clients a month. I think that's okay. If let's say you want a bigger vision, you want to impact thousands and thousands of people's lives, then you might want to start something big as well. But of course, be very frank with yourself. Is it you want to like build, you want to like make money? You want what do you want to do? Right? I think that is the key, because it's not always a very smooth sailing journey, because marketing and sales is really just the first part. It's like operations, hiring, training, dealing with scams, dealing with people like bad mouthing you. That it always happens. So like you gotta ask yourself like, why do you want to do this, right? And what's your goal?
Wow, wow. So yeah, it's really I think that's great insight for those who are starting. So maybe as a way to follow up from here, let's say if someone's interested with let's say working with you, or actually working with us in this case, right? How can they find you, and what's the process like?
Yeah. So we currently don't accept any new clients as of now. However, we will actually leave our slide deck in the YouTube comments below. We actually talk about like what do we do, what is our FEBA process. Everything is below. You can take a look. And I also left my email address down there with my phone number. You can hit me up. Sounds weird. You can reach out to me if you're interested to find more. Um, yeah, right. So that's basically how you can reach out to us.
Okay, wow. So with that, this interview has come to a close. It was actually meant to be an hour, but I think there was really so much that that had to share in this interview that we have gone well beyond that. So with that, that's really a wrap for today's interview. And what we have done today is to really show you this 5-step process. So whether or not you decide to do this on your own, or to do this with someone who's perhaps a little who has a bit of experience in the space, I think the choice ultimately is up to you. That why do you want to do this, and where do you see yourself going? These are really the things that we can look at, and really it's all about understanding that the financial education business can be a very fulfilling journey, and it can be a very meaningful one as well. So with that, that likes to call himself the economic moat, and I think this is how we're going to wrap up for today. So as you're watching this video, please remember to like and subscribe. And yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
All right. Let me pause it.